Welcome to the BAPS Better Living Podcast.
I remember I was in elementary school when we had a class trip to watch Annie the musical. We had just watched the movie in school and now we're actually going to watch it on stage. I was so stoked, wanting to sing along with the most popular song, Tomorrow. Now, I'm not a singer by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm just going to speak some of the lyrics of the song. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. When I'm stuck with the day that's gray and lonely, I stick out my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're always a day away. The song is about perseverance and optimism. No matter what the situation is, stay positive because good things will come of it. Helen Keller, a famous American author, lost her sight and hearing at the age of 19 months. If anyone has a legitimate gripe with life, it would be her. Yet, she did not let her disabilities get in the way of living life the way she wanted to. In fact, she said, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Strangely, I was thinking about that song while driving down to Washington, D.C. just a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I had just lost a friend to cancer at the age of 35, survived by her husband and 4-year-old son. The news was absolutely shocking. We had just hung out with them a couple of months prior when she was doing great, but things turned for the worse, and they knew during the final days she wasn't going to make it. So it was strange that this song popped in my head as we drove down to the funeral, and it made me think, the sun will come out tomorrow, but will we? We are surrounded by death. In 2021, 69 million people passed away. Multiply that conservatively by 10 or so people who are family and friends, and we're talking about an additional 690 million people who are directly impacted by the death of someone. That comes out to 8 to 9% of the world's population either died or were impacted by it. So every decade, essentially everyone in this world has been impacted by death. Everyone. Yet, do I live my life with a constant thought about death? It reminded me of an incident described in the Mahabharata, one of the main Hindu scriptures. In it, Yudhishthir, the eldest brother of the Pandavas, was asked a question, what is the most surprising or astonishing thing? Yudhishthir's answer was that every day people are dying, yet one thinks and believes they are deathless and will remain forever. So here I am, standing towards the back of the funeral home, listening to my friend give a eulogy for his wife. I'm filled with sorrow for a friend who lost his best friend and companion, and for his son who will go through his life without a mom. And inevitably, you go down the path of what happens if I don't see tomorrow. As we drove back home, my wife and I were mostly sitting in silence, processing. In my mind, questions were swirling. Have I set up my family for financial security? Do I need to make a will? Who will take care of my kids? Who will look after my parents? After all of those, I start taking stock of my own life. What am I doing? Why am I still at that job that's taking all the time away from my kids and friends? As a Swaminarayan Hindu, am I making progress in my spiritual journey? Can I really say I'd be going to Akshardham or heaven when I die? Am I even happy? All of a sudden, Steve Jobs pops into my head. Funny how your stream of consciousness will take you from one place to another in a matter of a second, connecting thoughts and memories you totally forgot you had. I recall watching Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford commencement speech on YouTube. While I recall the gist of what he said, I wanted to share his exact words with you. He said, when I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you will most certainly be right. It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. He continues, remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, all things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have everything to lose. But you're already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. Only when we experience a death of someone that we pause and take stock of what we're doing. That's exactly what I was doing at the funeral home and then the car ride back home. While death sucks and is scary, it's also inevitable. That does not mean we all need to mope around and be pessimistic, thinking, what's the point? Actually, it's quite the opposite. In whatever time I have, let me do what really makes me happy or is worth it, because everything else is irrelevant. And to take it one step further, to exactly what Steve Jobs said previously, if you use it as a daily tool, what would you do if today was truly your last day alive? Watch the endless loop of suggested videos on YouTube, or take your wife on a date? Spend those extra hours after work to get a step ahead on that project, or take your kids to the park to see their joy? Read the umpteen article on the upcoming US elections, or ensure you strengthen your spiritual connection to God by reading a spiritual book or listening to a religious discourse? I'm absolutely guilty of doing all the former things, when I know if I had just one day left, I would only want to do the latter. It's strange. We live life every day, yet it takes death to know how precious it is and how we should be living it. Not wanting this moment of contemplation to go away, I actually sat down that evening thinking of what I wanted to do differently going forward. Here are 5 things I came up with and wanted to share with you. 1. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, if today were the last day of my life. 2. Do something you love every day. 3. Work towards being the best version of yourself. Could be working out to stay healthy for your family, reading a book to further help you at school, work, home, or even spiritually. 4. Make time for your family, kids, and friends, even if it is a simple text to know you're thinking of them. And 5. Introspect daily to take account of the things you should be doing and what things detracted you from staying focused on the important stuff. These 5 points are really distillations of teachings I was fortunate to learn from my late spiritual guru, Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He had this uncanny ability to simplify difficult spiritual concepts into easy to understand and practical teachings. Living in harmony with yourself and those around you is something most religions preach in order to experience happiness. But how can it be achieved? Pramukh Swami Maharaj shared the concept of Ghar Sabha, where family members sit daily together to discuss religion and spirituality and share updates on what is happening in each other's lives. With conflicting schedules and sometimes losing sight of what's truly important, we go through our lives not even connecting with those closest to us. This in turn creates a situation where we become more roommates than actual family members. But by sitting down together, parents and children now have a forum to communicate with each other, which provides insight in how each other thinks and in turn helps us better understand one another. This then leads to a more harmonious family where everyone feels they are being heard and listened to. And this is why I put down my 4th takeaway of making time for family, kids, and friends. We hear the cliche, life is too short. We know it to be true, but actually forget it until we unfortunately experience death. But for our own happiness, why not remember it daily and live life to the fullest? Because while the sun will come out tomorrow, there's no guarantee we do.
We hope you enjoyed this Better Living episode and that it added value to your life. This episode and all content on this channel is created and managed entirely by Swamis and volunteers of BAPS from around the world. Our volunteers are continuously inspired by the sincere, transparent, and selfless lives of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the former Guru of BAPS, and Mahant Swami Maharaj, the current Guru of BAPS. Their character, their teachings, and work have inspired millions of people across all backgrounds, faiths, and cultures throughout the world. They have encouraged all, regardless of one's beliefs, to live a mindful, a balanced, and a harmonious life. If you enjoy content that inspires you to be better and do better, and you would like more better living content, follow us on Instagram and YouTube by searching for BAPS Better Living. Thank you for choosing to spend your valuable time with us.